Geographically, Tunisia contains the eastern end of the Atlas Mountains, and the northern reaches of the Sahara Desert. Much of the rest of the country's land is fertile soil. Its 1,300 kilometers, 810 miles, of coastline include the African conjunction of the western and eastern parts of the Mediterranean basin and, by means of the Sicilian Strait and Sardinian Channel, feature the African mainland's second and third nearest points to Europe after Gibraltar. Tunisia is a unitary semi-presidential representative democratic republic. It is considered to be the only fully democratic sovereign state in the Arab world. 1920, it has a high Human Development Index. 15, it has an association agreement with the European Union, is a member of La Francophonie, the Union for the Mediterranean, the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, the Arab Maghreb Union, the Arab League, the OIC, the Greater Arab Free Trade Area, the Community of Sahel-Saharan States, the African Union, the Non-Aligned Movement, the Group of 77, and has obtained the status of major non-NATO ally of the United States. In addition, Tunisia is also a member state of the United Nations and a state party to the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. Close relations with Europe, in particular with France 21, and with Italy 22-23, have been forged through economic cooperation, privatization and industrial modernization.
Ancient times, Tunisia was primarily inhabited by Berbers. Phoenician immigration began in the 12th century BC. These immigrants founded Carthage, a major mercantile power and a military rival of the Roman Republic. Carthage was defeated by the Romans in 146 BC. The Romans, who would occupy Tunisia for most of the next 800 years, introduced Christianity and left architectural legacies like the Elgin Amphitheater. After several attempts starting in 647, the Muslims conquered the whole of Tunisia by 697, followed by the Ottoman Empire between 1534 and 1574. The Ottomans held sway for over 300 years. The French colonization of Tunisia occurred in 1881. Tunisia gained independence with Habib Bourguiba and declared the Tunisian Republic in 1957. In 2011, the Tunisian Revolution resulted in the overthrow of President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali, followed by parliamentary elections. The country voted for parliament again on October 26, 2014, 24, and for president on November 23, 2014. 25. Tunisia is an export-oriented country in the process of liberalizing and privatizing an economy that, while averaging 5% GDP growth since the early 1990s, has suffered from corruption benefiting politically connected elites. 118. Tunisia's penal code criminalizes several forms of corruption, including active and passive bribery, abuse of office, extortion and conflicts of interest, but the anti-corruption framework is not effectively enforced. 119. However, according to the Corruption Perceptions Index published annually by Transparency International, Tunisia was ranked the least corrupt North African country in 2016, with a score of 41. Tunisia has a diverse economy, ranging from agriculture, mining, manufacturing, and petroleum products, to tourism. In 2008 it had a GDP of $41 billion, official exchange rates, or $82 billion, purchasing power parity. 8. The agricultural sector accounts for 11.6% of the GDP, industry 25.7%, and services 62.8%. The industrial sector is mainly made up of clothing and footwear manufacturing, production of car parts, and electric machinery. Although Tunisia managed an average 5% growth over the last decade, it continues to suffer from a high unemployment, especially among youth.
Tunisia is a representative democracy and a republic with the president serving as head of state, prime minister as head of government, a unicameral parliament, and a civil law court system. The Constitution of Tunisia, adopted January 26, 2014, guarantees rights for women and states that the president's religion shall be Islam. In October 2014, Tunisia held its first elections under the new constitution following the Arab Spring. 96. The number of legalized political parties in Tunisia has grown considerably since the revolution. There are now over 100 legal parties, including several that existed under the former regime. During the rule of Ben Ali, only 3 functioned as independent opposition parties, the PDP, FDTL, and Tajdid. While some older parties are well established and can draw on previous party structures, many of the 100-plus parties extant as of February 2012 are small. 97. Rare for the Arab world, women held more than 20% of seats in the country's pre-revolution bicameral parliament. 98. In the 2011 Constituent Assembly, women held between 24% and 31% of all seats. 99-100. Tunisia is included in the European Union's European Neighbourhood Policy, ENP, which aims at bringing the EU and its neighbours closer. On November 23, 2014, Tunisia held its first presidential election following the Arab Spring in 2011. 101. The Tunisian legal system is heavily influenced by French civil law, while the law of personal status is based on Islamic law. 102. Sharia courts were abolished in 1956. 102.
هذا شوف